The Williams County Regional Planning Commission is now called to order. We call the roll, please. Press your present button. Thank you. Staff, do we have any announcements?
Just a couple of quick things. First, items 22 and 25 have been withdrawn from tonight's agenda. And then the second thing is that I think you received an email recently from Mr. Horn outlining and pointing you to some training opportunity that is next Monday morning. And so that'll be a good opportunity if you're available and can do that to get an hour ahead on your required hours. That's it.
Thank you. Consideration of the minutes for May 12th, 2022 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to read them? Questions? Motion? No, sorry.
I think I was absent at that meeting. I was supposed to be here, and I wasn't here, and I'm listed as present. So.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Do we have a motion to accept the minutes? Motion and second. Thank you. Consideration of the consent agenda. Does any of the commissioners want to I'm sorry. I'm the bad one, huh? Okay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. The consideration of the consent agenda. Does any one of the commissioners want to pull any item separately? Otherwise, we'll hear it as a whole. Seeing Beth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to note that I was going through these items, and I just want to thank staff how thorough these items are, that they showed where they had visited the sites and what the follow-through is. I just really appreciate that detail. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda as written? Do we have a second? Second for written? Thank you. Please vote. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item 22 has been withdrawn. This is an old business. Item 23, preliminary plat review, Haven Star Hollow, large lot easement subdivision containing 5 lots on 66.43 acres located off Pewitt Road in the 1st voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is approximately 66 acres in size, is located off Pewitt Road, approximately 1/3 mile west of Taylor Cemetery Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create 5 lots off a new 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. At this time, the applicant is requesting deferral to the July 2022 Planning Commission meeting to allow the applicant more time to address staff comments.
Motion made to defer. Does it have a second? Thank you. Pressure. Everybody vote now, please. Robin? Motion carries. Thank you. preliminary plat review of Stephen Valley, Phase 11, containing 7 lots on 1.56 acres, located off of Sneed Road in the 8th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A concept plan for this development was approved at the April 2016 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for Phase 11 of the subdivision. This item was deferred at the May meeting because at that time, the plat had not yet demonstrated compliance with waterway natural area standards. The plat has since been revised to demonstrate that compliance. The preliminary plat is consistent in layout with and substantially conforms to the approved concept plan. This phase of the development will not trigger the need for additional roadway improvements beyond those already made by the developer. Staff recommends approval of this preliminary plat with the following conditions, which must be addressed in conjunction with final plat consideration. 1, establishment of performance bonds for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 2, establishment of a performance bond for water and sewer improvements in favor of Harpeth Valley Utilities District. 3, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And 4, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Any questions, discussion from the commission on this item? Do we have a motion? We have a second? Motion made and seconded. Please vote now. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 25 has been withdrawn. Item 26, a non-residential high school, the Page High School temporary classroom containing 49.24 acres located off of Arno Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting approval of a revised site plan for Page High School for 6 temporary classrooms totaling 6,048 square feet. The temporary classrooms will be utilized during the demolition and reconstruction of the 2nd and 3rd phases of Page High School, for which site plans were approved at the September 2019 and July 2021 meetings, respectively. The temporary classrooms will be removed after construction has been completed. The property in question is approximately 49 acres in size and is located on Arno Road. Adjoining parcels range in size from 1 acre to 60 acres and are used for agricultural or residential purposes. The Stag's Leap development borders the property to the southeast and west. Water service is provided by Millcrofton Utility District, and wastewater is handled by a private sand filter system. Staff has received confirmation from the Williamson County School System that the wastewater system can accommodate the proposed use. All zoning ordinance requirements have been met, including the specific requirements associated with educational facilities. The site plan is in order, and therefore staff recommends approval of the site plan.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Questions or discussion from the commission? Lucinda?
Could you help us understand again, like phasing of all this and why this location was chosen for the portables?
So we are currently in phase 3 of construction of a 4-phase project. Phase 1 was some sewer improvements, roadway improvements, the football field, turf, et cetera. The second phase was a 3-story, approximately 100,000 square foot building. It was complete last year. Phase 3 we're in right now. This is new gym, new cafeteria, new kitchen, classrooms, another 100,000 square feet of building. And so why this location was chosen, I guess simply because it's a good location as far as fairly flat area. the portables fit there. It does take some parking away, but I guess a few years ago, there was a gravel lot that was put in to accommodate the loss of parking spaces during construction. That will go away when all the construction is completed. So what loss of parking this takes has been offset in other locations.
So the new parking that's kind of shown back by the theater, that will not be ready before these parking spaces are lost. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Boltry?
So my question would be, so my kids went to Page High School. That's a very tight squeeze parking, and driving, my son backed out of a parking space and clipped the car next door because the parking spaces are so tiny, and, you know, $1,800 later, putting a bumper on someone's car. So it's a tight, in this particular area where these are going to be, that's where it happened. It's really tight right there. So my question would be, also, I'm concerned about cars hitting the fence. The fence is really close to the AC. There's a lot of space between the portables and that side of the gym. I mean, I'm real familiar with that area. Also, I'm concerned about, so I feel like you need more space with that fence. You can bring it closer into the gym, in my opinion. But why didn't, since you're going to be losing parking spaces, why did you not put it maybe closer to the actual school building versus the gym, where there's more, you know, they don't have to walk so far from these portables back into the school because of, there's only so many minutes between bells. It's safety purposes for going from a side of a building where no one really can see. You know, our sheriff's deputy will be inside the other building, so they're going to have to walk. There's only really one sidewalk in front of the gym. There's not a sidewalk behind. So I'm just concerned about, like, the location of it. Why wasn't it put maybe at the front where there is new parking? I think they have the bus lane there as well. If you're going to take parking spaces away, why not take parking spaces away where it's closer to the actual school building so they don't have so far to walk? And also notice that they're already in before the approval.
And that was a timing thing. We have, this isn't the only school where we're doing portables. We've got probably 26, 28. A lot of those are in the maintenance department, so I don't know exactly their schedule and timing. But we started this process several months ago. We didn't think they were going to be in until possibly even September. And lo and behold, they showed up this week. So it was a little bit of a surprise to me that they were available this week. So it wasn't that we were trying to jump the gun and circumvent an approval process. But in order to be able to get them before school started or even close to the beginning of school, we had to start the order process. And somehow, some way, these showed up this week before the approval came. So, like I said, there was no intent of circumventing your all's approval. It's just through that process of trying to get them here on time, because of the number that we have to get across all the schools, it just coincidentally worked out where they came this week. As far as other locations, you know, part of it too is we've got where you're talking about in the front of the school.
Not necessarily in front of the school, kind of to the side. So you've got the school and you've got the parking lot there in the front. It's that next parking lot, really in front of the gym. Because in front of the school, I mean, I don't know, it needs to be there, right smack in front of it. It'd be nice because they can just walk right in the front door. But I'm really talking more about the spaces in front of Ringstaff Gym. I mean, if you're going to take up parking spaces, why not there where you're closer to the school for just really the safety of the kids? I mean, I know that's obviously top priority regardless of where they are, but I don't know. Just seems over hiding behind, not that it was hiding, but being on the other side of the gym just doesn't seem like the best location to me.
As far as safety goes, I mean, we have cameras that
Sure.
that have that area covered. As far as walking, whether that's in front of the gym, beside the gym, wherever, probably the area that they have to cross potential traffic or where cars would be, they can walk a great distance of this on sidewalk without crossing through. So I'm not saying that it wouldn't make sense to put it there. It could be possible to put them in the front also. I think the fact that this is going to be going on throughout the entire school year, when you've got ball games there and that's the main entrance into the gym, there's a few different thoughts on where it is. It's certainly, with this site, to keep them relatively close to the school, but not in the construction zone, somewhere in that parking lot is going to be the best location, whether it's one side of the building or the other. I do think that some of the thought was, well, that's the entrance into the gym, and you're kind of cluttering it up with the portables there.
So there's going to be construction in that area in front of the gym?
No.
Okay.
No, what I mean is, all the construction is towards, was it
The other-
Stag's Lead, the subdivision over there. So you really have the western side of the building that's free from construction.
Because I just see it as on the side that the north side that where you have them located now, you've got softball field, soccer field, baseball field, and then a little bit of football. So as far as being in front of the gym, you've got three different sports going on versus, one or two in the gym. I don't know. I just look at more for a safety factor of the kids not having to walk, I don't know, 1.5, 2 minutes from those portables around the front up into wherever they need to go. And time is of the essence when they're in between classes. And obviously safety too.
Yeah.
I know you have cameras and that's great, but still.
Yeah.
Just
And like I said, I'm looking at pulling up the
car
site plan.
safety because, let's face it, they're teenagers. I mean, they're going to stay on the sidewalks. Where are they going to be? Just, I think, getting them closer to the main school is important to me. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Commissioner Loftus?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much. I think that there were some good questions raised. I would imagine with something like this, you obviously have the professional engineering background, which we appreciate. Were the principals also consulted as far as the portable location? Because they manage the campus? Was the school board, did they have eyes on this at all? I was just kind of curious of the process because I'm sure that there is one. Y'all are so thorough. I appreciate that.
When this was first brought up, I was not part of this design. This design has actually been in place for quite a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know all the details. I can speak to Brentwood Middle, where we're putting in portables there. We had lots of conversations with the principal there. Safety obviously was very important. It's also, middle school is a little bit different than high school. Middle school, we tried to keep 6th grade together, 7th grade together, 8th grade together. So we worked with them quite a bit to make sure everything's safe, make sure it doesn't disrupt their flow of their day. So yes, there was quite a bit of coordination between.
So we're not really sure on this campus if there was that, or do we know that if the school board members also saw this design? I'm just asking because there was a planning commission, we're just trying to
Yeah.
be useful, but we are kind of the last set of eyes that see this, so I'm just curious of who's seen it.
I don't know. I don't know if the school board was included or not.
Okay.
Like I said, I know there was communication with the school when this was first developed. I can't tell you exactly how
Okay.
much was, but yes, there was.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Robin?
So when we first approved this, I don't recall did we approve portables? I mean, not approve, but did we talk about there would be portables? Or is this something new, but just because we need the space because we're, tearing down the other buildings?
Commissioner Baldry, this was not on either of the phases that this body has seen.
So part of this need comes from The construction, while we're only taking a couple of classroom, well, we're taking more than a couple of classrooms. So what we built in phase 2, if you take the number of classrooms that were built in phase 2 and the number that we're removing in the demo of phase 3, we're short 1.5 classrooms. And so in addition to that, and I think this goes to what Aaron was talking about, the growth that they've seen in the area, the projected numbers, some of that has increased, and so that's why it was not on. Because when you look at the numbers of really we're only taking one full classroom and a part of another, we thought that there's probably, it's going to be a little bit of inconvenience. Any construction on an active school is going to be a little inconvenient, but thought that at the time we could do it without having to do portables. As I said, with the numbers where the projections are, now we're getting to where we feel like we need to go ahead and do this process also.
I'm definitely not against the portables because obviously we need it because we have had our growth. I'm concerned about the location of them, and I just don't feel like that's in the best interest of the kids, and that being on the opposite side of the gym, and that's just my opinion about that.
Now, one conversation that I've had with the principal, and it wasn't necessarily related to these portables, but just we did talk about, because when the school is complete, you are going to have longer distances of travel, and we've talked about that. And the building that is towards the baseball field, the soccer field, that's actually used as a classroom now, which is even farther away from the main building. So you've got students that travel past these to a classroom.
Are you talking
every day.
about the weight room?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, my son was in there too. That's just one class. We're talking about, 6 classrooms? And a lot more kids going in just to the weight room. So that's my thing. I'm just concerned more about the safety of a lot more kids going out there than going into the weight room.
Commissioner Lucinda?
Yeah, I have 2 more questions. One is, what is the proposed length of time that these portables are going to be in use? Do you
So construction of the current phase will be complete, is scheduled to be complete, I won't say will, scheduled to be complete in April. So when this current phase is complete, we will have additional classrooms where these will not be needed. So,
So 1 school year?
yes.
Okay. And then the other thing it just hit me really, because I do car line sometimes. I try to avoid it at all costs, but if I do, this is where the car line runs, and it's already not a great scenario because there's that new parking lot next to the football field, so a lot of kids park there and walk in, and there's no sidewalk for them to walk on. So you're kind of bumping this out into that area where you've got cars flowing in for car line and kids walking in. So it's just another thought about, I don't know if you want to shift the whole thing up. If you can't shift it in front of ring staff, could you at least maybe shift it up? It just seems like that's a kind of an operational thing to
Yeah.
talk to Dr. Hill about, but it's a concern.
Yeah, and as you're saying that, I'm looking at being in the front of the building too. I mean, if they were to be in front of the building, you take that shape and swing it 90 degrees, it's going to extend beyond the building footprint. Now you're taking up that drive aisle also, so I think that's part of the thought of why it's on the side, because while it is going to interfere with some of the drive aisle, while it is going to take some parking spaces, it doesn't take that somewhat east-west drive aisle if they was shifted.
Right, I guess, and it doesn't have a dimension here for us from this fence line to the edge of the pavement, but that's what I'm saying already, it's a sketchy area for car line because there's groups of kids walking in and cars right here. And now you're, I don't know, bumping that out or squeezing that down by 10 plus feet. So
Which dimension are you looking for?
I'm right here at the back, kind of where, at the
Okay.
back of ring staff, that's what I'm saying. All the car line cars, that's
Mhm.
where they come in, and all the kids are walking too. So now you're reducing the width of that area. So,
Oh, I see what you're saying. So if that moved up into that drive aisle.
yeah, like shift the whole thing forward.
Yeah.
If you can't move them somehow and reconfigure them in front of ring staff, maybe shift them forward because of that concern?
I think that's possible. I think that would be, I think that would be possible to shift it. What would that be, towards the northeast a little bit?
Is that it? Robin?
Do you have an update on the crosswalks?
The
For-
crosswalk is complete.
I mean, I know it's complete, but I mean
Right.
the traffic
Yeah.
signals and all that.
So, if you're in the traffic signal business at all, you know that normal times, it's a 6 to 9 month process to get traffic signals in a lot of times. Since supplies have been an issue for a while, that time has been extended. I've been in constant contact with the contractor. They have given us a date in July on when they will be delivered. As soon as they're delivered, everything is in place, so all they have to do is
I've seen it.
raise them up, connect them, and then they'll be operational. So the latest I've been told is that they will be delivered in July, and they will be installed immediately and be completed. And as you may remember, the plan was not to put the crosswalk until the signal was in place. What we did to compensate, or to correct, not correct that, but to account for it being in place, we added additional signage for safety. So while it's not there, we've added some measure of safety with signage for it until it's in place.
Any other questions? Am I hearing from the commission that they'd like this looked at a little more before we? Beth? Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just wondering this, like, to not hold you up, is there a way to approve this tonight, just with the recommendation that you do coordinate specific location on site with the school principal? You know, something like that, where we're just trying to encourage a little bit more dialogue, because there's been some locals that have raised some kind of good questions, but.
Yes.
You know, it always takes, a lot of eyes on something, and.
Right.
I just wanted you to know, in no way are we not so appreciative. You're doing a fabulous job. That Page High School campus is beautiful. But, the devil's in the details, and so we're just here with those,
Well, and I think like
insights.
Jessica's suggestion, shifting them a little bit. Yes, we will have conversations, and assuming that we are approved with that condition, to have some more conversations and coordinate with them. Yes, we will certainly do that.
Christy, is there a way to make a motion to that effect? How would I do that?
I think just kind of what you said, that you approved in encouraging discussion with the principal regarding the location and the traffic circulation. I mean, that way it's moving the project forward for the school system, but at the same time encouraging that discussion.
Okay, so I'm going to say so moved that.
Could I ask a question on that?
Oh, please.
Would it be out of line to have, make it approved where the staff will get with the applicant on the final decision?
I think it's best to leave it to the applicant and the school personnel. And then if it's going to require a major shift, then that's something that they can talk to staff about. But I don't know that I would recommend putting the staff in that position.
If I may add, too, I mentioned we're doing this at Brentwood Middle. In the Planning Commission approval with Brentwood Middle, we had 4 that were pretty straightforward. We had 4 that were not so straightforward, just because of some slopes and some other things. We did have to shift one of those 4. We've had communication with the school principal, communication with the city about it. So we will certainly continue to talk with staff and the principal and others. We've had to make some adjustments like that, so we will do that here too.
And there's just to add, there's some flexibility for minor adjustments of things that can be done at the staff level without having to bring it all the way back to the planning commission. So
Right.
we kind of have some of those breaks in there too.
I moved. Anybody seconded?
Okay, we have a motion to accept it from Beth. Do you have a second? Ms. Rose, Commissioner Rose, please vote now. Yeah. Motion carries, thank you. Item 27, preliminary plats. Preliminary plat review for David Scott and Denise Lutsky Properties, large lot easement subdivision containing 2 lots on 17.10 acres located off of Garrison Road in the 1st voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is approximately 17 acres in size, is located off Garrison Road, approximately 3/4 of a mile southwest of Peach Hollow Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create the 3rd and 4th lots off an existing 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. The site contains natural resources requiring protection, including steep slopes, hilltops, and tree canopy. Approximately 81% of the site is under tree canopy. All zoning ordinance requirements, including those regarding the protection of natural resources, have been met. The applicant is proposing individual septic systems for the lots, and the Williamson County Department of Sewage Disposal Management has approved the request. Water will be provided by HB and TS Utility District. There is an existing fire hydrant meeting the minimum flow rate of 500 gallons per minute within 500 feet of the building envelope, per ordinance requirements. The preliminary plat is in order, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Question or discussion from the commission? Motion made and seconded. Please vote now. Motion approved, thank you.
Thank you. I'll just stay here. I've got the next one also.
Okay, thank you. Item 28, preliminary plat review, the Arbors at Arbor Ridge, large lots easement subdivision containing 5 lots on 112.70 acres located off of Hargrove Road in the 1st voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject parcel is approximately 113 acres in size, is located off Hargrove Road, approximately 1/5 of a mile north of Pinewood Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create 5 lots off a new 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. The site contains natural resources requiring protection, including steep slopes, a ridgetop, and tree canopy. Approximately 93% of the site is under tree canopy. All zoning ordinance requirements, including those regarding the protection of natural resources, have been met. The applicant is proposing individual septic systems for the lots, and the Williamson County Department of Sewage Disposal Management has approved the request. Water will be provided by HB and TS Utility District. As no fire hydrants are proposed, building envelopes have been separated by 200 feet, and the fire apparatus access requirements in Section 3.05 in the subdivision regulations are met. The preliminary plat is in order, and staff recommends approval, subject to the following. Number 1, a notice of coverage issued by TDEC will be required prior to the signing of the final plat. Number 2, a land disturbance permit must be obtained for the overall development. Number 3, driveway and drainage infrastructure must be complete, consistent with zoning ordinance requirements prior to submittal of the final plat. And number 4, the sum of tree canopy disturbance areas shall match total tree canopy disturbance and continue to meet tree canopy protection requirements of the zoning ordinance. This shall be shown on a tree canopy exhibit submitted with the final plat.
Thank you. Questions, discussion, Commissioner, on this item?
Yes, just curious, 93% of the site's under tree canopy. Do we have any idea what the percentage of the site will still have tree canopy once this is completed? Is there a way to have some idea about that?
Well, they're required to protect, I think it's like something like 54% of that. They're required to preserve a certain percentage of that. Beyond that, I'm not sure. Maybe the applicant
Yeah,
can give an
I can't
idea.
tell you exactly what it is, but we're meeting the requirement.
Hmm.
We're over the requirement.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Motion? We have a motion, have a second? Second. Please vote now. Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you.
Final plats. Final plat review, Kings Chapel, Section 12, containing 28 lots on 31.86 acres located off Murfreesboro Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting final plat approval of the 12th section of the development, which contains 28 lots and approximately 16.5 acres of open space. The applicant has requested this item be deferred until the July 2022 meeting. Staff concurs with this request.
Thank you. Questions, discussion on this item from the commission? Motion? We have a motion, a second. Please vote now. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 30. Thank you. Final plat review for St. Marco, Section 2, containing 29 lots on 11.678 acres located off a long lane in the 12th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting final plat approval of the second section of the development, which contains 29 lots and approximately .4 acres of open space. The applicant has requested this item be deferred until the July 2022 meeting. Staff concurs with this request.
Thank you. Questions, discussion from the commission? Motion? Motion and a second. Please vote now. Motion carries. Thank you. Are there any other businesses for the commission? Do we have a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Have a good evening.